Chosen one, pause everything else you are doing and let these words settle deep into your spirit. Tonight is the last chance, the ultimate threshold you have been circling around for far too long. You feel it, don't you? That trembling sense that the door you have been knocking on is about to swing open or slam shut, depending on whether or not you are prepared to take the final step. Something in your heart has been stirring, insisting that this is no ordinary night, and I am here to confirm that intuition. This evening, the clock is ticking toward a divine appointment, and you cannot afford to walk away from what is about to be revealed. Before we dive any deeper, do 3 simple yet powerful acts. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and comment with the number 777. That small commitment is your way of signaling to heaven and earth that you are ready to receive the message that could change your life forever. You might have felt the weight of time pressing on you for weeks or even months, a feeling that keeps whispering, "It's now or never." But let me speak plainly. There are seasons in life when that whisper becomes a roar, demanding an immediate response. This is that season. Tonight, the veil between your old self and your new destiny is at its thinnest. The only question is, will you step across or remain in the comfort zone that has cradled you for so long? When I say comfort zone, I do not only mean your daily routines or your circle of friends. I mean the patterns of thinking that have tamed your wildest dreams, the fears that have kept your courage on a leash, the scars you have nursed instead of healed. For some it might be the fear of failure, for others the fear of success. Regardless of the form, fear is your greatest enemy in this moment, because it will do everything it can to convince you that tomorrow is just as good as tonight. But that is a lie, because something supernatural is aligned for this very night and you do not want to miss it. Sometimes the final step is not about grand gestures or epic leaps. Sometimes it is about saying, "Yes, I am ready," in the midst of uncertainty. It is about choosing trust over doubt when your mind screams that you should remain cautious. The reason tonight is so pivotal is that you have already done the groundwork. You have prayed, you have yearned, you have studied or prepared in ways you might not even recognize. The stage is set and the players are in position. All that remains is for you to declare your role, to say, "I will step on stage, even though my knees might quake." No more rehearsals, no more second-guessing. The final act is here and it demands every ounce of faith you possess. You might be wondering, why now? Why not next week, next month, or when you have sorted out your personal life or finances? Let me tell you this: destiny rarely waits for perfect conditions. In fact, it often arrives at the most inconvenient times, precisely because it is testing your willingness to move without seeing the entire path. Remember that the greatest leaps forward in human history occurred when someone dared to step out in faith, even when the background noise of circumstances cried out for caution. Think of it this way: if you wait for absolute clarity, you might remain paralyzed forever. Tonight is the last chance to break that cycle of overthinking. Stay ready, because an opportunity might come disguised as a small nudge, a midnight thought, or a conversation that seems random but carries the exact words your spirit needs. If you let this moment slip, you risk staying in the same cyclical patterns for another year or longer. Stay ready is not just a phrase, it is a posture of the heart. It means living with your eyes open, your hands open, your schedule open. It means not being so rigid in your plans that you cannot pivot when the divine voice calls your name in the hush of the night. Many people miss their breakthroughs because they are too occupied with their daily demands to notice that destiny has shown up, knocking at their door. But you, chosen one, must remain vigilant. Perhaps you have already sensed that certain people, certain opportunities, or certain ideas are converging in a way that defies coincidence. Let that be the signpost telling you that the final step is not just for the distant future, it is for tonight. There is a power in acting swiftly once you receive clarity. Have you ever noticed how excitement and conviction can fade if you procrastinate? That initial surge of boldness, that clarity of vision, can evaporate if you do not translate it into action. This is why you must move now, while the fire in your soul is still blazing. The world is full of people who once felt that spark, but allowed it to fizzle under the weight of overanalysis. Do not become one of them. Give yourself permission to be a little reckless, in the sense that you trust the intangible leading of your spirit more than the so-called practicalities that have so often caged your dreams. You might feel ill-prepared, still grappling with the remnants of old wounds or uncertainties, but often readiness is less about having all the resources in place and more about having the willingness to step out despite your imperfections. If you are waiting to feel perfect, you could be waiting a lifetime. You have grown more than you realize, learned lessons you never thought you would master, and conquered challenges that once loomed like giants. Do not diminish the progress you have made. The final step is about acknowledging that you already have within you what is needed to seize this moment. The key is to trust your inner voice above the doubters around you, or within you. As the night unfolds, you might sense a heightened energy, a tingling in your limbs, or a surge of creativity. Some might dismiss it as restlessness or nerves, but pay close attention. It could be your spirit aligning with the windows of opportunity that have been orchestrated on your behalf. In times like these, journaling or quiet meditation can help you grasp the nuances of what your intuition is telling you. Even a short walk under the moonlight might reveal insights that have eluded you during the busy hours of the day. The hush of late evening can be the perfect canvas on which destiny paints its instructions. The question is, will you be still enough to recognize the brushstrokes? You may fear the consequences of this final step. Perhaps it means leaving behind a relationship, a job, or a comfort zone that has become stifling. It could mean committing to a project or a vision that terrifies you because it is so much bigger than your current reality. Yet remember, everything worthwhile in life involves a degree of risk. Love, success, personal growth, none of these flourish without vulnerability. Standing at the edge of your final step might feel like standing on the precipice of an enormous canyon. But the only way to discover that you can fly is to leap. And once you are in midair, you might just realize that what you feared most was never as powerful as your faith. If there is one thing I can assure you, it is that regret is far more painful than the temporary discomfort of stepping into the unknown. If you let this night pass without taking action, you might wake up tomorrow with a sinking feeling in your gut, a sense that you missed a once-in-a-lifetime alignment. Do not let that become your story. You have come too far, endured too much, and grown too strong to turn back. Listen to your own heart, that steady drumbeat that refuses to let you settle for mediocrity. At times you might question whether you truly are chosen. You have seen your own flaws, your own slip-ups. You know the times you have doubted, the times you have retreated. But being chosen is not about perfection, it is about purpose. The very fact that you are gripped by this sense of urgency, that you cannot shake the feeling you were meant for more, is proof enough. God does not make mistakes in distributing callings. He sees what you cannot yet see in yourself, and if you feel that call, you have a moral and spiritual responsibility to respond. This final step is your acceptance letter, your signature on the contract that says you will not shrink from the path set before you. In the swirl of all this, do not forget the simplest but most powerful tools at your disposal: prayer, reflection, and community. Speak your fears out loud, to God, to a mentor, to a trusted friend. Often, voicing our anxieties diminishes their power. Reflect on your journey, reminding yourself of the countless times you overcame what once seemed impossible. Then surround yourself with people who breathe life into your dreams, who believe in the destiny that burns in your eye. These might be new acquaintances or old confidants, but the key is that they echo the faith you are choosing to live by, not the fear you are determined to leave behind. Stay ready means not just readiness in action, but readiness in spirit. Keep your hope alive by feeding it with positive words, images, and music that uplift you. Cut off the steady stream of negativity that might come from certain media or individuals who thrive on pessimism. The final step demands an environment conducive to growth. Just as a seed thrives in fertile soil, your vision will thrive in an atmosphere of faith and possibility. If that requires you to take a break from certain online platforms or shift your social circles, so be it. The harvest that awaits you is worth the sacrifice. Sometimes, the final step is a test of obedience rather than comprehension. You might not fully grasp why now or why this particular path, but when a higher calling stirs your heart, clarity often comes after you say yes, not before. You take one step into the dark only for the next foot of ground to become illuminated. This is the essence of walking by faith, not by sight. It can be unnerving, but also profoundly liberating. Instead of being paralyzed by the unknown, you become an explorer of the possibilities that lie just beyond your immediate vision. If you still feel uncertain, let me remind you to breathe. Fear tries to constrict our breathing, to make our chests tight and our hearts race. A calm breath is a powerful statement that says you are in tune with a peace that surpasses understanding. Sometimes, that is enough to steady the trembling inside. Then ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen if I take this final step, and what is the best that could happen? More often than not, the best-case scenario utterly dwarfs the worst, yet fear fixates on the latter. Combat that by focusing on the incredible potential that awaits if you move forward. All of this might sound grand, but you could be dealing with a very specific scenario. Maybe you have a job interview tomorrow, or a plane ticket to a place you have never been. Maybe you are about to propose to someone you love, or maybe you are considering a total career change. Regardless of the specifics, the principle remains the same. Tonight is crucial. There is an alignment in the spiritual realm that makes this moment fertile ground for breakthroughs. If you sense a heaviness, it might be resistance from forces that do not want you to step into your calling. If you sense excitement, that is the call of destiny urging you forward. Either way, do not ignore these signals. As the hours of the night progress, be prepared for sudden ideas, revelations, or even dreams that bring clarity. Keep a notebook or your phone nearby. Jot down those insights, for they could vanish by morning if you do not capture them. Sometimes, the key to your next season arrives disguised as a fleeting thought or a symbolic image in a dream. The difference between those who harness such insights and those who lose them is simply the willingness to pay attention and record what surfaces from the deep recesses of the spirit. This is another layer of stay ready. You remain open to the ways in which guidance might appear, refusing to brush aside even the smallest sign. If you find yourself wide awake in the wee hours, heart pounding, do not curse your insomnia. Instead, realize that you might be awake for a reason. Destiny often speaks in the silence of the night, when the clamor of daily life has subsided. That restlessness could be the direct prompting that your final step is near, that tonight is your last chance to align your will with divine timing. Throw off the covers, pace the room if you must, and listen to what your spirit is trying to tell you. Let your prayers or meditations become like a dialogue, you speaking your readiness and the divine responding with confirmations. In these heightened moments, tears might flow, memories might resurface, hopes might rekindle. Let them come. Emotional release is often a sign that you are shedding the layers that no longer serve you. Sometimes we need to cry out the old so we can make space for the new. Do not judge yourself for feeling deeply. Embrace it as proof that you are engaged in the raw, authentic process of transformation. This night is about honesty, with yourself, with your maker, with your path. When the sun rises, let it find you resolute in your decision to move forward. Whether that means sending that email, making that phone call, submitting that application, or simply declaring to your reflection in the mirror, "I am all in," do it. Action cements intention. Without action, the greatest revelation remains theoretical. The final step is not a place of talk, it is a place of doing. And once you do it, the floodgates of possibility swing wide. People often wonder why they feel stuck, never realizing that the universe was waiting for them to act on what they already knew. Do not let that be your story. You already know enough to take the next step. And if you falter after you have acted, if doubts creep in again, recall this night. Remember that it was the moment you broke through your fear, that you refused to let your life remain stagnant. Tell your doubts that they are intruders, not rightful inhabitants of your mind. Revisit your reasons for stepping out, your vision for a bigger, brighter future. Keep your heart stirred by frequently revisiting the moments that shaped your faith, the times you overcame adversity, the answers to prayers you once thought were impossible, the miraculous ways resources showed up when you needed them. These recollections are the anchor that will keep you steady in uncharted waters. On a practical note, you might also want to share your decision with a supportive friend or mentor. Sometimes voicing our commitments to someone else adds a layer of accountability that fortifies our resolve. Let them cheer you on. Let them remind you of why you took the leap in the first place. While this path ultimately belongs to you, having allies can make the journey more bearable and even more joyful. As the final minutes of this pivotal night approach, you might feel a swirl of both anticipation and melancholy, as if you are saying goodbye to the person you were yesterday. In truth, you are, because once you cross this line, you will not be the same. You will have leveled up, embraced more of your calling, shouldered more responsibility for your destiny, and in so doing, stepped fully into your identity as the chosen one you were always meant to be. Let that bitter-sweet feeling wash over you, for it signifies you are alive, evolving, and not content to remain stagnant. Take one last moment to ground yourself in the present. Breathe in the magnitude of this night. Breathe out the lingering threads of fear. Then anchor your decision with a symbolic act. Maybe light a candle, jot a note, or simply gaze up at the stars. Affirm silently or aloud, "I will not waste this opportunity. Tonight is my last chance, and I choose to stay ready. I embrace the final step." Feel the peace that follows such a bold proclamation, because that peace is confirmation that you are indeed aligned with something greater than yourself. Now, seal the deal by taking 3 simple steps if you haven't already. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment 777 below. By doing so, you make a tangible declaration in both the physical and spiritual realms that you are committed to walking through this final door. It might seem like a small gesture, but symbolic acts have tremendous power to anchor big decisions. As the night stretches on, know that you are not alone. Countless souls have stood at their own crossroads of destiny, trembling at the threshold. Some turned away, never realizing how close they were to breakthrough. Others stepped forward and found themselves catapulted into a life beyond imagination. You stand in the lineage of those who dared to believe that one night, one decision could redefine everything. Will you join the ranks of the bold and faithful, or remain with the uncertain and hesitant? The choice is yours, and the time is short. Let these final words echo in your heart. Do not let this night pass without taking action. This is the hour of separation between those who merely dream and those who manifest their calling. The final step is here, shining like a beacon, waiting for you to cross it. Tonight truly is your last chance in this window of alignment. Stay ready, for the unseen forces of destiny have conspired to bring you to this precise moment. Seize it, and you will never look back with regret. Instead, you will look ahead with wonder, grateful that you heeded the call when the night was darkest, knowing that dawn was just around the corner.